This handsome guy is walking down the street when, bam, he's mugged. The robbers clean him out, leaving him with nothing but the clothes on his back and a sore spot on the sidewalk where they dumped him. Luckily, a kind-hearted girl happens to pass by. Seeing him in distress, she takes him home to patch him up. She starts to remove his shirt to tend to his wounds, and she catches a glimpse of his incredibly sculpted physique, like a perfectly ripened durian. A gulp escapes her lips. Her eyes drift up to his ridiculously handsome face, and a blush creeps onto her cheeks. After cleaning and bandaging his scrapes, she gets up to leave, but he gently grabs her hand. She can't bring herself to pull away, so she sits back down beside him. Tiredness overtakes her, and as she tries to subtly remove her hand, his grip tightens. She eventually succumbs to sleep, her head resting near his. The next morning, he wakes up to find a beautiful stranger asleep next to him, her hand still clasped in his. He carefully sits up, gets dressed, and calls his assistant. He scribbles down his contact information for her and slips it beside her before quietly leaving. Unfortunately, a playful cat swats the note into a nearby trash bin. Unbeknownst to her, he is none other than Kang Hoon, CEO of a massive corporation. A child prodigy featured in global finance magazines at the tender age of 5. He's now, at 31, a powerful and desirable bachelor. Women practically swoon in his presence. Angel, whose real name is Yoon Seo, runs a bustling veterinary clinic, constantly buried in work. She's even been teased by old classmates for her simple, unassuming style. Little does anyone know, she's about to become the envied Mrs. Kang Hoon. Back at his office, Kang Hoon waits expectantly for Yoon Seo to contact him. Days turn into a week, and still nothing. Meanwhile, Yoon Seo grumbles about the ungrateful Kang Hoon, who disappeared without so much as a thank you after she'd patched him up. A client at Yoon Seo's clinic, noticing she's single, offers to set her up on a date. She asks Yoon Seo about her ideal man. Without hesitation, Yoon Seo describes someone over 6 feet tall, with a tan, rock-hard abs, maybe a little bit of a bad boy attitude, but definitely with a captivating voice. Basically, someone irresistibly charming like Kang Hoon. The client chuckles and makes a hasty exit, likely overwhelmed by the specificity of Yoon Seo's description. Stepping outside, the client couldn't help but mutter to her dog, "Honey, with standards that high, she'll be single forever." Back in her clinic, even Yoon Seo had a good laugh at her ridiculous list of requirements. In her small town, a man like that was rarer than a unicorn, but as she chuckled, the image of Kang Hoon's impressive physique flashed through her mind. She briefly wondered how his injuries were healing. Meanwhile, Kang Hoon's resourceful assistant had tracked down Yoon Seo's information. He discovered that she was carrying a substantial debt from opening her veterinary clinic. The assistant suggested to Kang Hoon that settling this debt for her would not only clear her financial burden, but also be a grand gesture of gratitude, one she'd never forget. But the proud Kang Hoon decided to wait for Yoon Seo to contact him, assuming she'd eventually show up and demand compensation for saving him. Days passed, and still no word from Yoon Seo. Impatient and intrigued, Kang Hoon decided to take matters into his own hands and visit her clinic. This unexpected move surprised his assistant, who was used to the CEO's aloof and superior demeanor. Kang Hoon simply explained, "Debts must be repaid." Arriving at Yoon Seo's clinic, he saw her apologizing to a customer for not being able to offer dog grooming services. A smile touched his lips. Captivated by her genuine expression, he instinctively snapped a photo with his phone. Admiring her radiant smile, he decided not to interrupt her and left without a word. The following day, he returned to find the clinic closed. As he was about to leave, he spotted Yoon Seo cycling towards the building. Recognizing him instantly as her hotshot, she led him inside. As they started to talk, Kang Hoon politely requested that she confine her adorable clinic cat, as he was allergic to cat dander. Unfazed, Yoon Seo playfully threatened to kick him out, reminding him he wasn't obligated to be there. Kang Hoon stepped closer, confessing his discomfort with being indebted to her. He then asked her point blank, "How much do I owe you for saving my life?" He also questioned why she hadn't contacted him. Yoon Seo replied, "I didn't know who you were, so how could I contact you?" That's when Kang Hoon realized his contact information hadn't reached her. She then presented him with a bill for 700,000 won. Looking at the amount, Kang Hoon was taken aback. He asked, "Is there a mistake?" Yoon Seo, thinking her fee was too high, quickly explained that she didn't accept insurance and was a very conscientious veterinarian. But Kang Hoon felt insulted. Saving a CEO like him couldn't possibly be worth a mere 700,000 won. He asked her to rewrite the bill, wondering if she genuinely lacked greed or was just putting on an act. Just then, Kang Hoon spotted the cat again and reminded Yoon Seo to put it away. Exasperated, she stood up to do so, but accidentally stepped on the cat's toy ball. She stumbled, her hand landing on Kang Hoon's shoulder for support. Face to face with him, Yoon Seo blushed crimson. Flustered, she mumbled something about taking whatever payment he offered, and quickly retreated. This incident sparked an idea in Kang Hoon's mind. He would gift Yoon Seo a $1 million veterinary clinic. However, when he took her to see the gleaming new facility, she flatly refused. She explained that her current clinic, despite the debt, represented her hard work and passion. It was a piece of her heart, and she wouldn't trade it for anything. For the first time in his life, Kang Hoon experienced rejection, and it infuriated him. He became determined to make her accept his gift. While Yoon Seo was working at her clinic a few days later, her landlord informed her that the building had been sold and would be demolished for redevelopment. Shortly after, she received a call from Kang Hoon. It turned out he was the new owner. He curtly informed her that demolition would begin the following week, so she needed to vacate immediately. Yoon Seo was furious. Refusing to be bullied, she frantically searched for a new location. Unfortunately, her limited funds made finding a suitable space nearly impossible. Desperate, she went to the bank for a loan, only to be told they couldn't extend her any further credit. Unbeknownst to Yoon Seo, Kang Hoon's assistant had documented her apartment search and bank visit, reporting back to the CEO. Kang Hoon had orchestrated the loan denial, tightening the screws to force her to accept his offer. The next day, Kang Hoon sent a crew to the clinic to inform Yoon Seo that the building was condemned and she had to clear out immediately. He watched from a distance, his mood lifting as he witnessed her arguing with the workers. Then, he called the crew off, adding another layer to his manipulative game. Infuriated, Yoon Seo stormed into Kang Hoon's office, hitting him repeatedly with her bag before bursting into tears. She cried out, "What did I do to deserve this? Why are you doing this to me?" Kang Hoon calmly told her to accept his gesture of gratitude. Instead, Yoon Seo grabbed his tie, warning him never to play games with her again. To punctuate her point, she stomped on his foot. As he reacted, she lost her balance and nearly fell. Kang Hoon instinctively caught her, pulling her close. Yoon Seo struggled to break free, but Kang Hoon tightened his grip, promising to release her if she calmed down. Having no other choice, she reluctantly complied. Then, she scribbled her bank account information on a sticky note and slapped it onto his shirt. With a triumphant air, she declared she'd vacate the building within a week and demanded he transfer the deposit into her account. Kang Hoon, practically giddy with the success of his plan, couldn't stop smiling, even as he glanced down at his shoe, still smarting from Yoon Seo's stomp. Yoon Seo went to vent to her best friend. Ever supportive, her friend handed her an envelope, calling it an investment with annual interest. Just then, a former classmate, who'd always looked down on Yoon Seo, walked into the cafe. She immediately began to taunt Yoon Seo, suggesting she go back to the countryside and herd cows. Assuming she was unemployed, she also cruelly jabbed at Yoon Seo's age and single status. Infuriated by the insults, Yoon Seo ignored a call from Kang Hoon. Annoyed at being rejected, Kang Hoon sent a text message, reminding her of the impending demolition. Already fuming from her classmate's condescension, the text message pushed Yoon Seo over the edge. She snapped back, announcing that she was moving to Seoul, and told her classmate to send flowers to her grand opening. The classmate was speechless, and Yoon Seo, realizing she'd overshared, felt a pang of regret. She now had to make good on her boast. Swallowing her pride, she went to see Kang Hoon. He immediately asked if she'd changed her mind. Yoon Seo, quick on her feet, proposed that the cost of saving him be increased from 700,001 to 70 million won, enough to open her new clinic, minus the original 700,000 she would pay him back gradually. This way, she'd be borrowing from him instead of the bank. From the start, she hadn't intended to keep his money. They would be business partners. Left with no other option, Kang Hoon agreed, shaking her hand with a forced smile. It was a classic case of the wolf catching an innocent rabbit. The next day, Yoon Seo threw herself into setting up her new clinic, personally decorating and arranging everything. After days of hard work, she finally finished and took a celebratory selfie. That evening, Kang Hoon visited the clinic and found Yoon Seo asleep at her desk. He watched her, captivated. He leaned in closer, but Yoon Seo suddenly opened her eyes, startling him. Still half asleep, she thought she was dreaming. She reached out and pinched his cheek, commenting on how smooth his skin was. Kang Hoon sternly told her to remove her hand, jolting her awake. He asked why she was sleeping at the clinic instead of going home. Yoon Seo retorted that, thanks to him, she didn't have a home. Furthermore, she had many expenses and couldn't afford to be wasteful with his money. Kang Hoon, even more perplexed, asked why she wouldn't accept his help. Yoon Seo simply stated that she only needed enough to live comfortably. He then criticized the small apartment she was planning to rent, telling her he knew of a bigger, cheaper place. Intrigued, Yoon Seo asked where. Kang Hoon, with a mischievous glint in his eyes, replied, "My house. I have plenty of rooms." Yoon Seo's response to Kang Hoon's generous offer was simple. "Are you crazy?" The next day, still smarting from being called crazy, Kang Hoon was presented with a list of women by his assistant. His mother was pressuring him to date 3 eligible women every month until he found a suitable partner. On the day of Yoon Seo's grand opening, Kang Hoon had a meeting and couldn't attend. He sent his assistant with flowers and an invitation to lunch. However, Yoon Seo put the assistant to work, even having him stand outside the clinic and mimic a fortune-beckoning gesture, praying for a prosperous business. At lunchtime, Yoon Seo and the assistant ordered jjajangmyeon black bean noodles and ate together at the clinic, completely forgetting about Kang Hoon's lunch invitation. He arrived to find them happily slurping noodles on the sofa. He loudly called his assistant's name, demanding an explanation. The startled assistant nearly choked, grabbed his jacket, and fled. Kang Hoon pulled up a chair next to Yoon Seo. His stomach rumbled audibly, making her giggle. She offered him her chopsticks and invited him to join her. "I don't eat this kind of food," he declared. "Wait-y-dee," Yoon Seo replied. "Since you're here, you might as well try." Kang Hoon reluctantly picked up a chicken foot, dipped it in soy sauce, and took a bite. His face immediately contorted. It was his first encounter with such a flavor. Just then, a young man entered the clinic. He asked Kang Hoon who he was. Kang Hoon retorted, "Who are you?" The man introduced himself as Yoon Seo's friend and business partner. Kang Hoon was clearly displeased by this explanation. Later, back in his office, he started to text Yoon Seo, asking about the man, but thought better of it and deleted the message. Yoon Seo's condescending classmate, upon learning about the new clinic, gathered her friends and visited Yoon Seo, ostensibly to congratulate her. She then challenged Yoon Seo to treat them to a meal, knowing Yoon Seo couldn't really afford it. As Yoon Seo nervously looked at the expensive menu, a waiter brought a bottle of wine. Compliments of the gentleman at the next table. Yoon Seo looked up and saw Kang Hoon. She quickly hid behind the menu, pretending not to know him. But Kang Hoon wasn't having it. He ordered more dishes for Yoon Seo's table, much to her classmate's surprise. Taking advantage of a bathroom break, Yoon Seo texted Kang Hoon, asking to speak with him. As Kang Hoon walked past Yoon Seo's table, he overheard her classmates gossiping about her. When he met Yoon Seo, she accused him of following her and told him to stay away, not to treat her like the other women he knew. When the bill arrived, Yoon Seo's jaw dropped. Over 600,000 won. As she shakily handed over her credit card, the waiter informed her that the bill had been paid. Outside, they found Kang Hoon waiting to drive her back to the clinic. Yoon Seo's friend, seeing a handsome man offering a ride, excitedly pushed Yoon Seo towards him. Kang Hoon's actions infuriated Yoon Seo. On the drive back, Kang Hoon advised Yoon Seo to avoid such selfish friends and spend time with him instead. Then, to avoid further blind dates, he proposed a solution. "Be my girlfriend." Yoon Seo, taken aback, angrily got out of the car and walked away. He rushed after her, stopping her just as she was about to deliver a well-aimed kick. His reflexes were quicker, however, and he easily blocked her attempt, further infuriating her. "Do I look that easy to bully?" she demanded. "Is that why you want me to be your human shield?" She stormed off, but Kang Hoon persisted, relentlessly pursuing her with his offer. Yoon Seo refused again. Her first love, she insisted, couldn't be a staged performance with Kang Hoon. He raised an eyebrow. "Are you telling me you've never been in a relationship?" Yoon Seo, flustered, quickly claimed that at 30, of course, she dated. Kang Hoon then confessed that he'd been dreaming about her frequently. She was unlike any woman he'd ever met, and he genuinely wanted to be her boyfriend. Seeing her blush at his words, Kang Hoon declared his experiment a success. Yoon Seo was lying. She'd never dated, and therefore had no resistance to his charm. Yoon Seo angrily countered that he had it all wrong. Kang Hoon's words triggered a painful memory. During college, she'd accepted a date with a classmate, Sang Hyun. However, a jealous friend had witnessed the exchange and cruelly suggested that Sang Hyun's kindness was merely pity. Crushed, Yoon Seo had dropped the flowers he'd given her ending the potential romance before it even began. Now, she longed for a real relationship. That evening, Yoon Seo visited her friend and signed up for dance classes. Her friend, ever the romantic, grilled her about Kang Hoon, asking if she was torn between him and Sang Hyun. Yoon Seo retorted that her friend should write romance novels. Later, as Yoon Seo took Sang Hyun's hand for their first dance lesson, she realized her heart wasn't racing the way it did around Kang Hoon. Before they could even begin, her phone rang. Seeing Kang Hoon's name, her heart pounded and her cheeks flushed. He asked if she'd considered his proposal. He wanted her answer. Flustered, Yoon Seo mumbled that she was busy and hung up. Afterward, Yoon Seo joined her dance classmates for drinks. They asked why she was taking dance lessons. Yoon Seo confessed she was trying to cure herself. Around men, she became nervous, blushed, and felt weak. She felt paralyzed. Noticing the stares, she quickly added that she was also trying to lose weight. The next day, Kang Hoon visited Yoon Seo at the clinic. He offered a deal, be his girlfriend for 3 months, helping him avoid the dreaded blind dates. And the clinic would be hers, free and clear. 3 months, no strings attached. Let's try it, he urged. A contract relationship. Under the relentless charm offensive of the CEO, Yoon Seo finally agreed. With his assistant as a witness, they signed a love contract. The terms required them to convincingly portray a loving couple in public and take their roles seriously. They had to meet daily. Yoon Seo Party B would set the schedule, and Kang Hoon Party A had to comply with her requests. Most importantly, she couldn't see other men. Sang Hyun's presence seemed to trigger a competitive streak in Kang Hoon. After reviewing the contract, both parties signed, officially becoming contractual boyfriend and girlfriend, with the bewildered assistant as their witness. Noticing their serious expressions, the assistant gently suggested they smile at each other, since they were now a couple. He chuckled awkwardly as they remained statue still. Day 1 of the contract relationship. They went about their daily routines, grabbing coffee and lunch separately. At the end of the workday, Kang Hoon asked his assistant what couples typically do. The assistant, unsure, glanced at the other assistant before suggesting dinner, drinks, or a movie. Kang Hoon, not a fan of movies, decided to accompany Yoon Seo to her dance class. Upon their arrival, Yoon Seo's friend excitedly introduced Kang Hoon as her boyfriend to Sang Hyun. Sang Hyun politely greeted Kang Hoon, mentioning he'd never heard Yoon Seo mention a boyfriend. Kang Hoon smoothly replied that his girlfriend preferred to keep special things private, adding to her allure. He then put his arm around Yoon Seo, whispering in her ear, "Didn't you wash your hair today?" Yoon Seo hissed back, "Physical intimacy isn't in the contract." Kang Hoon chuckled. The point is to be convincing. After this display of possessiveness, he encouraged her to study hard and left. Back in his car, Kang Hoon tossed aside the flowers he'd bought for Yoon Seo, imagining her dancing with Sang Hyun. To his surprise, before Yoon Seo's class ended, one of his pursuers appeared. He immediately called Yoon Seo for backup. Reluctantly, Yoon Seo arrived at the restaurant to meet Ra-mi. Ra-mi, seeing Yoon Seo's casual attire, was incredulous. She asked Kang Hoon, "This is who you like?" She then asked Yoon Seo her age, and upon learning she was 30, condescendingly called her old lady. Furious, Yoon Seo retorted, "Shouldn't a young girl like you be home at this hour?" Just then, Sang Hyun arrived, returning something Yoon Seo had left at the dance studio. Ra-mi, assuming Yoon Seo was two-timing Kang Hoon, started to berate her, but Kang Hoon intervened. Ra-mi then accused them of faking their relationship and demanded proof. To convince her, Kang Hoon pulled Yoon Seo close and leaned in for a kiss. Ra-mi stopped him, scolding him for being so forward. After she left, Kang Hoon questioned Yoon Seo about Sang Hyun constantly being around her. Yoon Seo pushed him away, explaining they were friends. "Haven't you heard of platonic friends?" she asked. Kang Hoon declared that she shouldn't pay attention to any other men besides him. Driving Yoon Seo home, he noticed her dozing in the passenger seat and pulled over. Just as Kang Hoon reached out to brush a stray hair from her face, Yoon Seo woke up. He quickly withdrew his hand, telling her not to sleep in front of others. Confused, she asked why. He teased her, saying her sleeping face, complete with drool, was horribly unattractive, but that he of course found it adorable. Yoon Seo, flustered, started to hiccup, a peculiar reaction she only experienced around someone she liked. The next day, Ra-mi, Kang Hoon's persistent admirer, showed up at Yoon Seo's clinic. Seeing her aggressive entrance, Yoon Seo mirrored her stance, arms crossed and glaring. Meanwhile, Kang Hoon was in a meeting when his phone rang. He looked around, asking if everyone had remembered to silence their phones. His assistant whispered that it was his phone ringing. Kang Hoon called for a break, and everyone quickly filed out. He finally answered the incessantly ringing phone. Yoon Seo informed him that his Ra-mi was at her clinic. Kang Hoon told her to handle it as she saw fit. Yoon Seo warned him that if Ra-mi called her old lady again, there would be trouble. Kang Hoon, amused, replied, "Do what you need to do. You're my girlfriend, after all." Yoon Seo turned to Ra-mi and, with a sweet smile, commented to Kang Hoon that Ra-mi was quite feisty for someone so young. Kang Hoon chuckled, agreeing that she was indeed a handful. Ra-mi, with a condescending look, asked Yoon Seo if she planned to marry Kang Hoon. Yoon Seo replied that they were just dating, and marriage wasn't on the table yet. Ra-mi scoffed, saying there was no point in dating if it didn't lead to marriage. Yoon Seo wasn't having it, and delivered a sharp retort, putting Ra-mi firmly in her place. As Ra-mi stormed out, Yoon Seo flashed a victorious grin. Kang Hoon's phone rang again, interrupting his meeting once more. Yoon Seo excitedly reported her triumph, boasting about how she'd put Ra-mi in her place. He smiled softly, and his worldly wise assistant shared a knowing grin. Kang Hoon then quickly composed himself, telling Yoon Seo he was busy, and abruptly ending the call. That evening, they went on a surprisingly enjoyable movie date. Yoon Seo laughed throughout the film, while Kang Hoon watched her, captivated. Afterward, she took a selfie with him. When he asked why, she explained that they needed photographic evidence of their dates, in case anyone questioned their relationship. It was like getting a stamp in their relationship savings book, she quipped. As she reviewed the photo, she playfully criticized him for not cooperating and looking stiff. Seeing Kang Hoon's sullen expression, Yoon Seo quietly scrolled through her phone. He received a call and stepped outside to answer it. Watching him laugh and chat, Yoon Seo mused to herself how different he seemed on the phone. Back home, she printed their selfie and pasted it into her relationship savings book, adding a heart sticker before pausing, questioning her giddiness. She sent the photo to Kang Hoon. He stared at it, remembering her comment about his stiff pose, and attempted a smile, but gave up, tossing his phone aside. Exhausted from a week of work and nightly dates, Yoon Seo suffered a nosebleed. Her friend suggested they both play hooky. Coincidentally, Kang Hoon was feeling similarly drained, receiving a text from Yoon Seo, complaining about their relentless dating schedule. That evening, as Yoon Seo and her friend relaxed at the clinic, the lights began to flicker. Yoon Seo tried calling the building manager, but her friend pointed out that the manager's office was empty. Her friend, declaring the flickering light a hazard, grabbed Yoon Seo's phone and texted someone. Moments later, Kang Hoon arrived, breathlessly accusing Yoon Seo of successfully swapping boyfriends. Yoon Seo, confused, looked at her mischievous friend. Kang Hoon then attempted to fix the faulty light fixture, but his fumbling only frustrated Yoon Seo. She shooed him away, climbed up a ladder, and quickly fixed it herself, all while teasing him about his lack of handyman skills. As she triumphantly descended, she slipped and fell straight into Kang Hoon's arms, their lips accidentally meeting. Just then, her friend returned. They quickly pretended nothing had happened. Kang Hoon stammered that it was an accident. Yoon Seo's friend, ever the romantic, dismissed it as typical couple behavior. Yoon Seo, however, playfully scolded him for not catching her properly. After her friend tactfully left, Kang Hoon asked Yoon Seo if that had been her first kiss. She quickly lied, claiming she'd kissed plenty of boys in kindergarten. Kang Hoon warned her not to read anything into it, and she returned the sentiment. And so, Yoon Seo's precious first kiss was stolen by Kang Hoon. But, she mused, at least she'd learned her lips were good for more than just eating. Later, Kang Hoon received a text from Yoon Seo, reminding him to get some sleep and wishing him good night. He started to reply but hesitated, deleting the message. Yoon Seo, meanwhile, anxiously awaited his response, staring at her phone until she gave up, assuming she'd been ignored. The next day, Kang Hoon visited the clinic, only to find a closed sign. He texted Yoon Seo, who, after some thought, decided not to reply. Kang Hoon waited outside, but no response came. The following day, he called repeatedly, but she didn't answer. Yoon Seo received a threatening text from Kang Hoon. If she continued breaching their contract, he'd consider it void and pursue legal action. If she didn't want to go to jail, she needed to answer his calls. His call immediately followed, and Yoon Seo, defeated, picked up. Kang Hoon informed her they were attending a party and told her to get in his car. Yoon Seo questioned why she had to go. Kang Hoon simply stated, Because you're my girlfriend. After a quick makeover, Yoon Seo was transformed. Kang Hoon, taking her hand, escorted her into the party. As fate would have it, her condescending classmate was also there. She sneered at Yoon Seo, declaring her unworthy of attending such an event and accusing her of wearing a knockoff dress. Just then, Kang Hoon arrived at Yoon Seo's side and introduced her as his girlfriend. The classmate extended her hand to Kang Hoon, who pointedly ignored it. Flustered, she turned to Yoon Seo, commenting that as a first-timer at such events, she must be a lot of work for her boyfriend. Kang Hoon, without missing a beat, replied that Yoon Seo was a lot of work because he constantly worried about her and wanted her by his side. After dealing with the classmate, Yoon Seo was looking forward to enjoying the food when Ra-mi appeared. Seeing Yoon Seo happily indulging in the buffet, Ra-mi criticized her lack of decorum, suggesting she was acting like she hadn't eaten in 1,000 years, and embarrassing Kang Hoon. Yoon Seo, losing her patience, unleashed a verbal volley at Ra-mi. Kang Hoon arrived just as Yoon Seo, grabbing her shoes, was about to leave. He stopped her. Yoon Seo asked if their relationship would end when the contract expired. She was looking forward to it, she added, since she never wanted to attend another event like this. As she abandoned her heels and attempted to flee, Kang Hoon pulled her back and kissed her. On the drive home, Kang Hoon coldly told her to forget the kiss. It was a mistake. Yoon Seo's eyes welled up at his dismissive tone. A video of their kiss surfaced online, and the assistant's phone began ringing off the hook. In his office, Kang Hoon watched the video, regretting his harsh words to Yoon Seo. Hearing the assistant approaching, he quickly closed the video and instructed him to ensure it didn't negatively impact Yoon Seo. Meanwhile, Yoon Seo, seeking to forget the events of the previous night, went to Sanghyun's dance club and danced furiously. In her distraction, she sprained her ankle. As Sanghyun examined her injury, Kang Hoon suddenly appeared, demanding he take his hands off her. Sanghyun explained that he was simply tending to her injury. Kang Hoon scooped Yoon Seo into his arms, declaring that as her boyfriend, he would take care of her. Back in the car, Yoon Seo questioned his behavior. Kang Hoon retorted that she wasn't allowed to get injured, especially not where another man could touch her without his permission. Infuriated, Yoon Seo challenged him. Because I'm party B, I'm allowed to make mistakes, but you're not? Because you're the boss, you can do whatever you want and then dismiss it as a mistake? Kang Hoon quietly replied that it wasn't a mistake. When Yoon Seo pressed him, he said he didn't repeat himself and drove off. He took her back to her clinic and bandaged her ankle. As he wrapped the bandage, Yoon Seo, looking around her new clinic, confessed she missed her old one. Kang Hoon tightened the bandage abruptly, making her wince. He told her to stop thinking about the past. She wasn't allowed to go anywhere without his permission. Yoon Seo was momentarily silenced by his domineering tone. Determined to keep track of her, Kang Hoon bombarded her with texts, constantly asking for her location. Yoon Seo was driven to distraction by his incessant, "Where are you?" messages. The next day, while apartment hunting, she received another call from Kang Hoon, demanding her location. Upon learning she was looking for a place to live, he invited her to move in with him. Yoon Seo thought he was crazy. Kang Hoon, however, reiterated that she wasn't allowed to go anywhere without his permission. He then instructed his assistant to sabotage her apartment search. Sure enough, Yoon Seo received a call. The landlord had changed his mind. Seeing Kang Hoon miraculously appear moments later, she realized what had happened. He once again suggested she move in with him. Yoon Seo angrily refused and stormed off. She told him she regretted saving him. If she'd known what a nightmare it would become, she would have pretended not to see him lying on the sidewalk. She declared she would only live with someone she loved. She challenged, "Do you like me that much?" Undeterred, Kang Hoon found her again. He declared that no matter where she went, he would buy the property. The only place she could go was his house. Yoon Seo couldn't understand his obsession. Kang Hoon confessed he was developing feelings for her, adding, "Don't you feel something too?" He told her to think about his offer and not to keep him waiting too long. Back home, Kang Hoon visited the room he'd prepared for Yoon Seo, confident she'd love it. He decorated it himself, after all. Exasperated by Kang Hoon's persistence, Yoon Seo drowned her sorrows with her friends. As she descended into drunken oblivion, Kang Hoon called. Arriving at the bar, he saw her inebriated state and angrily asked Sanghyun why he'd let her get so drunk while he remained sober. Sanghyun explained that he couldn't stop her. She always drank to excess. Kang Hoon haughtily told Yoon Seo to get up and go home. To his surprise, she demanded another drink. Kang Hoon, already seething with jealousy over Sanghyun, picked Yoon Seo up and carried her out of the bar. However, she drunkenly started to fondle his biceps, murmuring Song Hyun's name. This was the last straw. He roughly told her to let go, causing her to tumble to the ground. Annoyed, he told her to walk home herself, but as he walked away, a random man approached Yoon Seo, inviting her for another drink. Kang Hoon immediately returned, scaring the man off. Suddenly, Yoon Seo seemed to sober up slightly. Recognizing Kang Hoon, she leaned against him, making him feel a flicker of satisfaction. A moment later, she vomited all over him. Kang Hoon somehow managed to get her home, collapsing onto the sofa, exhausted, a mixture of anger and concern swirling within him. The next morning, Yoon Seo woke up to find Kang Hoon asleep beside her. Her eyes drifted downwards, and she let out a scream, waking him with a start. As she remembered the previous night's events, it was Kang Hoon's turn to be furious. He declared their contract terminated, giving her 3 days to vacate the clinic. He stormed out, leaving Yoon Seo to frantically chase after him. Catching up to him, she begged for another chance, but Kang Hoon ignored her. He snatched his phone back from her and walked away. Yoon Seo called after him, demanding an explanation. She'd been a good girlfriend. Why did she have to repay the loan? She didn't even remember what she'd done. Kang Hoon told her she'd gone drinking with another man behind his back. Yoon Seo's memory slowly returned. She pleaded with him, explaining she'd been upset. Kang Hoon coldly asked why she'd sought comfort from Sang Hyun instead of him. He turned and walked away. Later, he found Yoon Seo eating ramen. He quipped, "How's that tears of regret ramen?" Yoon Seo snapped that it was none of his business. Kang Hoon reminded her that she was still his girlfriend. She retorted, "I thought you ended the contract." He replied, "What if I haven't?" Walking away. Seeing his tactic working, Yoon Seo put down her ramen and declared that she could do anything he asked. A triumphant smirk spread across Kang Hoon's face. He asked, "Anything?" She confirmed it. "Then move in with me, now." The domineering CEO had won. Yoon Seo, completely outmatched, had fallen into his trap. That evening, Yoon Seo and Sang Hyun were dancing when Kang Hoon appeared and pulled her away. Sang Hyun angrily told him it was rude to interrupt a dance. Kang Hoon replied that he didn't care. He pulled Yoon Seo close, telling her to focus on him. They finished the dance together, their movements perfectly synchronized. Afterward, Yoon Seo asked Kang Hoon, "What if, after we move in together, you decide you don't want me to leave?" Kang Hoon chuckled, saying that was impossible. But when Yoon Seo flipped the question, asking what if she didn't want him to leave, he hedged, saying he hadn't decided, but he was willing to try living together. He encouraged her to be honest with herself about her feelings. Finally, Yoon Seo packed her bags and moved into Kang Hoon's impressive mansion. She marveled at its size as he led her to her room, gave her a few instructions, and left. Yoon Seo, delighted with her new space, bounced on the bed before rolling around playfully. A moment later, Kang Hoon opened the door and walked in. Seeing him, her smile froze. He stared, stunned, before quickly retreating. That night, a thunderstorm raged. Yoon Seo, terrified of thunder, screamed. Kang Hoon, hearing her from his study, rushed to her. They met in the living room, and Yoon Seo, startled and scared, instinctively clung to him. Kang Hoon froze, unsure how to react. He felt her trembling. He started to comfort her but then pulled away, awkwardly asking her to let go. Yoon Seo, realizing what she'd done, quickly jumped back, and they stood there in embarrassed silence. He escorted her back to her room, but as another clap of thunder boomed, she jumped back into his arms. Kang Hoon sighed. "You're such a scaredy cat." Yoon Seo instantly pulled away, denying it. However, as Kang Hoon left her room, he looked equally terrified, muttering to himself, "That was close." The next morning, Kang Hoon prepared breakfast, waiting for Yoon Seo to appear. She complimented his cooking. He informed her he would handle breakfast, while she would be responsible for dinner, laundry, and cleaning the bathroom. Yoon Seo, suspicious, asked if he'd brought her here to be his housekeeper. She offered to pay rent, but he scoffed at her meager funds. They decided to amend their contract. First, secrecy. Second, no physical contact. Kang Hoon immediately brought up her hugging him the night before. Yoon Seo dismissed it as an accident. When scared, she clung to things. She'd simply used him as a body pillow. Watching her animatedly explain, Kang Hoon, mesmerized, added another condition: no more dance classes. After breakfast, he drove her to the clinic. Yoon Seo waved goodbye cheerfully. Kang Hoon, pleased, glanced in his rearview mirror, only to see her chatting happily with Sang Hyun. He wanted to observe further, but the car behind him honked impatiently, forcing him to drive away. Later, as Yoon Seo browsed restaurant menus, Kang Hoon called. Kang Hoon asked, "Why are you meeting another man?" A hint of suspicion in his voice. Yoon Seo quickly explained that Sang Hyun was leaving the country to study abroad and had come to say goodbye. Kang Hoon, practically bursting with joy, declared this a cause for celebration. Yoon Seo asked when he'd be finished with work, she'd make him dinner. Kang Hoon feigned indifference, saying he didn't know. Yoon Seo retorted, "Who doesn't know their schedule?" Kang Hoon replied that it was the plight of a CEO, something she couldn't understand. Secretly, he was thrilled at the prospect of his girlfriend cooking for him, doing a little celebratory dance in his office, much to his assistant's alarm. Later that day, Yoon Seo went to Kang Hoon's house to clean his room. Exhausted from work, she fell asleep on his bed. Kang Hoon, arriving home, found her sleeping peacefully. He reached out to caress her cheek, but she woke up instantly. She smoothed her hair and quickly excused herself. After she left, Kang Hoon felt his heart racing. His feelings for her were intensifying. Yoon Seo, outside his door, felt equally flustered. The next day, Yoon Seo worked late at the clinic. Kang Hoon, arriving home to an empty house, called her, but she didn't answer. She texted him, explaining she had too much work and wouldn't be coming home. Relieved she wasn't out with anyone else, Kang Hoon smiled and texted back, reminding her to take care of herself. At breakfast the next morning, Kang Hoon found himself missing Yoon Seo. Looking at her empty chair, he felt a pang of loneliness. Habits, he realized, were powerful things. For the next few days, Yoon Seo continued to work late, leaving Kang Hoon to complain to his assistant. "Aren't there other vets? Other animal hospitals? Why is she always so busy? She doesn't even have time for me." The assistant chuckled, advising Kang Hoon to be more understanding. If Yoon Seo couldn't come to him, he should go to her. That night, Kang Hoon went to the clinic. He spotted the clinic cat on the desk and quietly made his way to the sofa where Yoon Seo was dozing. He gently cradled her head, letting her rest against his shoulder. A moment later, her phone rang, waking her. He scolded her for falling asleep anywhere and everywhere, telling her she needed to listen to him. Then, he leaned in. This kiss wasn't an accident. After work the following day, they drove home together. Kang Hoon stopped the car before they reached the house. It seemed a shame to go inside just yet. They sat and talked. Kang Hoon turning on the charm, his feelings for her becoming increasingly obvious. He leaned in, but Yoon Seo reminded him of the no physical contact at home clause in their contract. "But we're not at home," Kang Hoon countered. "We're outside." Kang Hoon learned from his assistant that his younger brother had returned to the country. He demanded to know his brother's whereabouts. The assistant calmly informed him that his brother was already at his house. Kang Hoon shot up from his seat, alarmed. Meanwhile, Yoon Seo, returning home with groceries, encountered a stranger in the house. She cautiously asked who he was. He simply looked at her and then gestured towards a family photo on the wall. Yoon Seo, studying the photo, finally realized who he was. Kang Hoon arrived home to find them chatting and cooking together. He immediately called Yoon Seo over, but his brother grabbed her hand, asking her to finish the tteokbokki spicy rice cakes they were making. Infuriated, Kang Hoon ordered his brother to let go of Yoon Seo. She stood awkwardly between the two men. That evening, Kang Hoon tried to send his brother to a hotel, but his brother claimed his card was blocked and that he preferred to stay since there was plenty of room. He then retreated to his room. After he left, Kang Hoon warned Yoon Seo not to look directly at his brother. Yoon Seo, confused, pointed out that he was Kang Hoon's brother. To Kang Hoon, however, he was still a man. Yoon Seo giggled, but seeing Kang Hoon's serious expression, she realized he wasn't joking. He sat down, looked her in the eyes, and said, "From the moment I wake up, I only look at you. So you should only look at me." The next morning, watching them leave for work together, Kang Hoon's brother looked thoughtful. Soon after, the assistant informed Kang Hoon that his brother had cut his hand and gone to Yoon Seo's clinic for treatment. Kang Hoon's face darkened. At the clinic, his brother, feigning helplessness, showed Yoon Seo his bleeding finger, asking her to bandage it. Yoon Seo pointed out that it was a veterinary clinic. His brother shrugged, reminding her that she'd treated Kang Hoon before. Seeing his pitiful expression, Yoon Seo relented and bandaged his finger. He then leaned in close, making her jump back. Remembering Kang Hoon's warning about not looking at his brother, she understood his concern. She smiled and told him she needed to get back to work, subtly dismissing him. As she prepared an injection for a dog, he reappeared, a persistent smile on his face. Yoon Seo told him to leave before he scared the dog. Predictably, chaos ensued. Kang Hoon arrived to find his brother holding Yoon Seo's hand, now sporting a fresh bite mark. Kang Hoon angrily pushed his brother away. Seeing Yoon Seo's bleeding arm, he grabbed his brother by the collar, demanding an explanation. His brother, frightened, told him to calm down and not resort to violence, even though that was precisely what Kang Hoon had in mind. Yoon Seo intervened, suggesting they all go outside. Back at the house, Kang Hoon advised Yoon Seo to take time off work to recover. He gently told her not to get hurt again. It worried him. Later, as they were reading, Yoon Seo's hair fell loose, bothering her. Kang Hoon immediately offered to tie it up, but his clumsy attempts only made it worse. He even blew on her neck, making her shiver. He fumbled for several minutes, unsure if he was helping or hindering. The next morning, as Kang Hoon dressed for work, Yoon Seo admired his handsome appearance. Just then, his brother appeared, asking Yoon Seo to tie his tie. Having never learned how she looked to Kang Hoon for help, they both simultaneously refused. Left with no other choice, Yoon Seo gave it a try. As she carefully wrapped the tie around his brother's neck, Kang Hoon seethed silently. At the office, as they rode the elevator, Kang Hoon's brother boasted about Yoon Seo tying his tie. Kang Hoon grabbed the tie, yanking it loose. His brother taunted him, asking if he was insecure. Was he worried Yoon Seo would, like his ex-girlfriend, prefer his younger brother? Kang Hoon shoved him against the elevator wall. The two brothers exchanged glares. As the doors opened, Kang Hoon ripped the tie off his brother's neck and walked away. During lunch, Kang Hoon's brother saw his ex-girlfriend's engagement announcement online, and then witnessed Kang Hoon and Yoon Seo sharing a tender moment. Consumed by jealousy, he confronted Kang Hoon, demanding to know why they were so happy while he was miserable. Kang Hoon, focused on his work, ignored him. Back at home, Kang Hoon relaxed against Yoon Seo as she prepared dinner. Seeing he was hungry, she fed him a piece of vegetable. Pleased with the taste, he lifted her onto the kitchen counter, asking her to promise never to leave him. Yoon Seo, overwhelmed, agreed. Kang Hoon, seizing the moment, confessed he wanted something more than dinner. He whispered, "You." The innocent rabbit had fallen into the trap. She asked, "Me?" confused. Meanwhile, Kang Hoon's brother, seeking solace in alcohol, discovered his cards were frozen when he tried to pay. He had no choice but to call Kang Hoon for help. Kang Hoon, enjoying a happy moment with Yoon Seo, ignored the call. He had no intention of rescuing his brother, but the incessant ringing forced his hand. He brought his brother home and dumped him on the sofa. Drunk and resentful, his brother warned Yoon Seo to leave Kang Hoon before she regretted it. Hearing this, Yoon Seo, adopting an older sister persona, playfully scolded his brother, warning him to leave her boyfriend alone. Hearing her call him her boyfriend, Kang Hoon was stunned. Yoon Seo, equally surprised, looked up at him. Seeing his flustered, blushing face, she began to blush as well, and quickly excused herself. His brother, frustrated, asked Kang Hoon if he was enjoying this. Kang Hoon simply told him to shut up. The next day, Yoon Seo enlisted both brothers to help wash the bedding. She instructed them to stomp on the bedding in a tub of water to clean it. Kang Hoon's brother vehemently protested. They had a housekeeper and a washing machine. He appealed to his older brother for support, but seeing Yoon Seo's stern expression, Kang Hoon pushed his brother towards the tub and rolled up his pants. Seeing his brother still hesitating, Yoon Seo asked why he hadn't joined in. He grinned and backed away, only to be shoved into the tub by Kang Hoon. Resigned to their fate, the brothers worked together, one happy, the other internally groaning. After washing the bedding, Yoon Seo instructed them to wring it out. Watching them struggle, she teased Kang Hoon about his muscles being for show. Kang Hoon, eager to prove her wrong, put his strength to the task. Finally, they hung the bedding to dry. Yoon Seo stretched triumphantly, only to get splashed in the face with leftover water. Seeing her bullied, Kang Hoon grabbed the hose and retaliated, starting a playful water fight. The tension between the brothers gradually dissipated, thanks to Yoon Seo's lightheartedness. As they were enjoying their newfound camaraderie, Kang Hoon's mother arrived. After interrogating Yoon Seo, she made it clear she disapproved of her modest background. Using the excuse of wanting to speak to her sons privately, she asked Yoon Seo to leave. Yoon Seo, not wanting to endure further criticism, politely excused herself. Kang Hoon immediately followed. His brother, speaking up for Yoon Seo, only further angered their mother. She then heard the clinic cat mewing and discovered Yoon Seo's room. Her anger erupted, and she ordered her younger son to bring Kang Hoon home immediately. Kang Hoon took Yoon Seo to her clinic. Seeing her leave in her slippers, he took her hand, promising to prevent such incidents from happening again and asking her not to leave him like that. Remembering her abrupt departure, Yoon Seo agreed. As she leaned against him, Kang Hoon realized she was burning up with fever. He decided to stay and care for her, but she refused to eat, claiming she wasn't hungry. His mother called, but he ignored it. Yoon Seo, not wanting to exacerbate their conflict, urged him to go home and return the next day with some of her belongings and her cat. When he returned home, his mother, deciding to clear out Yoon Seo's room, discovered their dating contract. Now she understood, Kang Hoon had chosen Yoon Seo as a fake girlfriend to avoid blind dates. She confronted him with the contract. Kang Hoon admitted their relationship had begun as a contract, but insisted he'd fallen in love with Yoon Seo and wanted to marry her. Knowing her son's stubborn nature, his mother devised another plan to separate them. She presented a contract, stating that if Yoon Seo truly cared for him and signed it, she wouldn't object to their marriage. Kang Hoon, recognizing the prenuptial agreement, considered telling Yoon Seo, but ultimately couldn't bring himself to do it. The next day, visiting Yoon Seo at the clinic, he found another man attentively caring for her. He was about to intervene when Yoon Seo introduced the handsome young man as her younger brother, Yoon's son. Kang Hoon's demeanor instantly changed, and he warmly greeted Yoon's son, introducing himself. Upon learning he was a CEO, Yoon's son commented that based on TV dramas, his family would surely object to their relationship. Yoon Seo quickly ushered Kang Hoon out, asking about the thing he wanted to discuss the previous night. Kang Hoon, still unable to tell her about the prenup, said he'd tell her later. Kang Hoon's mother, anticipating his reluctance, decided to meet with Yoon Seo herself. She told Yoon Seo that being with Kang Hoon came at a price. She presented the prenuptial agreement, demanding Yoon Seo sign it annually until she earned her approval, or else break up with Kang Hoon. Yoon Seo calmly stated she wouldn't marry Kang Hoon. Just then, Kang Hoon arrived. His mother prompted Yoon Seo to repeat what she'd just said. Yoon Seo, unflinchingly, declared she wouldn't marry him. After a moment of stunned silence, Kang Hoon asked, "You won't marry me?" Yoon Seo replied, "So do I need to sign this ridiculous contract?" Kang Hoon knew it was unfair, but he was also caught in a difficult situation. He asked Yoon Seo to compromise, to be patient for just 1 year. After that, they could live together as husband and wife. Yoon Seo asked what would happen if their relationship ended after a year. Kang Hoon insisted that was impossible. Looking at Yoon Seo's expression, Kang Hoon knew her answer. He realized she wasn't willing to endure even a temporary compromise for their relationship. He told her that if he walked away now, it was over. In response, he received only silence, which he took as agreement. Deeply disappointed, he left. He didn't know that his decision hurt Yoon Seo more than anyone. Back home, Kang Hoon lay in bed, trying to relax, but Yoon Seo's image haunted his thoughts. He even hallucinated her presence. Yoon Seo, equally heartbroken, decided to leave Seoul. The next morning, Kang Hoon received a video message from her. She thanked him for loving her and for the beautiful memories. She didn't regret meeting him. Knowing she'd left, Kang Hoon frantically searched for her. Yoon Seo, however, hadn't told her friends where she'd gone, only leaving her cat with her best friend. In Yoon Seo's room, Kang Hoon found her relationship savings book, filled with photos and mementos, and reminisced about their happy moments. Meanwhile, Yoon Seo sat in her family's orchard, eating bibimbap mixed rice with meat and vegetables. She'd asked her brother to help clear out her clinic. Their conversation was overheard by Kang Hoon's brother, who immediately informed Kang Hoon, despite Yoon's son's disapproval. However, hearing Kang Hoon's desperate plea, he couldn't live without her. Yoon's son relented and gave him Yoon Seo's location. That night, Yoon Seo thought about their time together, their first morning, Kang Hoon's cooking, and their kisses. Each memory brought a bittersweet ache. Her phone was filled with his unread messages. Unable to let go, she decided to return to Seoul. At the same time, Kang Hoon was on his way to find her. Learning of Kang Hoon's trip, his mother was furious. But upon discovering that Yoon Seo had saved his life, she felt a pang of regret. Kang Hoon's assistant, sensing an opportunity, spoke to her about Kang Hoon's deep love for Yoon Seo, hoping to sway her. The desire for grandchildren softened her heart. As Yoon Seo was about to board the bus back to Seoul, her brother called. Learning that Kang Hoon was at the orchard, she turned back. Kang Hoon was searching for her among the fruit trees. Finally, he saw her. They ran towards each other and embraced. The challenging romance between the domineering CEO and the kind veterinarian had blossomed from a fake relationship into a lifelong commitment. And that's the end of our story. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more great movies. See you next time.